Hello and welcome to the 52nd episode of Rambling Weekly. You shouldn't tell by the title, we're going to talk about lying to ourselves, because we do it a lot. Yeah. So, that's it. We're going to just take a break and then we'll get back into it. So, let's go. Welcome back. That first song there is Sairyoku no Teki, Strongest Foe. It's a, what's this one from? The Falcom Boss Zanmai album. I think they did, I always forget. I think there's like four of them or something, four different like Zanmai albums. And this one is for the different kind of bosses at Falcom games. 12 song. It's a pretty stellar thing. I've probably used it before, but I'll get to that in a moment. I've probably used it before, or at least, used songs from this before, but it's just a great album. It's nice to revisit it. I haven't really listened to it in a while, but yeah. And that's from East 3. It's a version of the final boss theme. Good stuff. The Strongest Foe. Yeah, how's everybody doing? Hope you're doing well. I'm doing good. I'm kind of like dealing with dogs barking. Oh my goodness. I'm dealing with my voice. I think I've hit like middle-aged puberty or something. I kind of blame Sushi because I have to be up hours later than what I normally am to do recordings with him. And so there's times like after we did a recording earlier this week, I think I got 3 hours of sleep, and that's how it's been going. So I couldn't really record earlier to do this. Plus I was just super busy with some other stuff. And yeah, I was like, when am I going to do... if it is the middle-aged puberty, a nice little growth spurt would be nice. That's all I'm asking. Not asking for a lot. But it is what it is. Yeah, so what's been going on? I've been super busy. I just printed this off, and this is another reason why everything's delayed, because I could have done it earlier, but I was like, well, the library's closing in a little bit, and because they're only open for a few hours near where I live and stuff on Friday. So I was like, oh boy. And what did I do? Well, I printed off the next story. So printed it off. I can't even see the little camera thing. Printed it off, plot. So this is a whole bunch of editing I get to do for it, and not necessarily excited about it in that regard, but in another hand, I am really excited about it. So it is kind of weird, I guess, in certain ways, because I don't have as much. I don't know how to put it. It's like not as much anxiety, anticipation as it was for the first book. This one I'm just kind of like, okay, all right, here we go. Go and get this one finished. Get it out of here. Get it out of my system. That's pretty much what it's... Just get it out. Go. Shoo. Trying to dismiss it like an elderly grandmother to her grandchildren to get out of the kitchen. Get out of my book. Get out of my head. Go away. But yeah, so I finished that. I literally typed like 48 pages this morning. That was a lot. So I'm kind of so I had to get it done because I was super busy doing all sorts of stuff yesterday, and I just couldn't get my mind into working on it. And then the day before that, I had done some, and it's just like So yeah, I got that. I'm hoping to have it released by July, so that'll be nice. It just means I got a lot of work, a lot of focus. Got to keep You know, I say that, but in the same hand, it's just as long as I keep consistent with it, instead of just, like, for example, blitzing like I did this last little bit and then going, okay, good, and then just letting it set for months. I know I've done that before with myself with certain things, so it's at least I'm aware of it, so hopefully being aware of it will make certain that I don't allow that to happen. And so that's because of this, I really haven't been playing too much. I've been pretty busy getting that situated. I dabbled in a little bit of Mega Man X4. I've beaten 2 of the robot miestas. That's about it. I don't think there was anything else. Don't think so. No. That's yeah, work. I guess the other big thing, which is really nice, is that on two separate instances, kind of chained along there, I was able to reconnect with a couple friends that I've not spoken to in like a decade. So it was really, really nice, and it was kind of funny too, because with both of them to pretty good degree, but also just in general, just kind of how we are. It was like, we haven't spoken in a decade, but we catch up in like 10, 15, 20 minutes or so. And then it's not to say that we haven't, like, you know, done things in those years and stuff like that. This is kind of how we are. This is kind of, it's really nice in a lot of ways, and just sort of funny how you can not talk to people, unfortunately, just because of life, not necessarily because of out of any animosity or anything. It's kind of, the both of them have been super busy with, you know, their own lives, and they've got other stuff going on and whatnot that I don't have going on. So it's like, woo, gracious. But yeah, so it was really good to catch up with them for a little bit, and from the sounds of it, should be able to get meet up and get like lunch or dinner or something with them and stuff. And so I'm super excited to really, really touch base with them, because yeah, it's been probably 10 plus years. It's probably been longer than 10 years. It's been a while. But yeah, that don't know if there's anything else going on. Yeah, really, other than that nothing too wild, nothing too, just been, like I said, to the grindstone, getting that finished. Especially when I knew I was getting really, really close. I was like, I just, not like bare bones, X said this, Y said this, blah 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 blah, but it was just kind of like, okay, I know what I'm doing, I know where I'm at, let's get it into paper form, let's get it all written up and everything. I can print it out and then go from there, because then I can turn around and edit and be like, okay, expand this and stuff. So yeah, it's been really absorbing me, and it's nice to have that like week and a half of just blitz out. I don't know what that was. It's an interpretation of what's going on in my head when writing. But I don't know what's wrong with me. But anyways, I'm going to take a break so I can compose myself, be a bit more serious, more dignified. I can't even say words. And we'll go from there. So enjoy the break and see you on the other side. Welcome back. That there is Jamo Suruna, the kind of like Don't get in my way. Get out of the way. Don't stop me. Don't stop the music. No, not quite don't stop the music, but just don't get in my way. Get out of the way. Don't impede me. That's you can go with a lot of different translations there. Anyways, that there is from Tear of Vermilion, the fifth game in the Legend of Heroes series. So it was the second game in the Gagov trilogy before Trails in the Sky and all that sort of stuff. The song, I think, is a boss theme from what I remember. It has been ages since I've played the game. Either it's a boss theme or it's a scene theme or it's used in both. But then I remember that the album is the Falcom Boss thing, so it has to be. It has to be a boss theme. Oh, if you just think about these things, Taylor, you wouldn't really make an idiot out of yourself nearly as frequently. Oh, well. Anyways, the topic for today is lying to ourselves. So, what do I mean by that? I guess when I think about it, it's just something that I think we all do it to ourselves in different capacities. It's a way to cope with certain things. So one of it could be in a form of jealousy, where somebody is looking at other people and being jealous of how they're living and whatnot, and they're like, well, I could do that. I can be just as good, if not better, because I know. That's certainly a delusional form of lying to yourself. Sorry, I have some soda here. I have celebratory soda going on here with some mellow yellow of all things, and it kind of starting to come up. Anyways, another one, like in a depressive state, in a depressive mental state of just kind of this inward attacking of just, I can't do it. No, I can't do it. That sort of thing, and just beating yourself up over something that it's like, nah, well, if you tried to do it, there's always... If you make the effort, if you at least try, you'll find out whether or not you can, instead of just saying, I can't. There's that. There's, people who refuse to act their age. Kind of have touched on that, where somebody who's older, and you're like, we may not say old man or something, but thank you, sir. And they're like, no, don't call me that. My name's Jerry. And it's like, oh, okay, Jerry. All right. Have a good day. Kind of thing. But, a big one to me, and I will include it in here, try to at least. If not, I might do a link. It might get tagged, not like it matters. A snippet from Bill Hicks, a comedian from the 80s, early 90s, that I've always really enjoyed since I first saw him, which was in college. Like, of course I didn't see him in college. Like, I saw videos because of YouTube of some of his stand-up in college. Not that old. Not yet, at least. I'm not. No. I will not reinforce the topic by lying to myself. I'm old. Not that old yet. But, it's a... Yeah, anyways, watch the clip and you'll get what I mean. But yeah, that's, lying to yourself. It's, as it says, piece of shit kind of thing. That's, I think, a problem a lot of people get into. I know I mentioned it with different YouTube channels and stuff that go into commenting on, current media and that sort of thing. Where it's just like, if you know it's trash, don't, you don't. It is not important to be like. I mean, maybe if you're paranoid or something, be like, "Oh, does anybody else think this is a piece of trash?" No, look at it. Like it's like Bill Hicks said in the little joke there. Look at it, see that it's a piece of shit, and walk away. Like that's you're right kind of thing. Not anybody else. You're right on that. Like there's something to that. But instead we we lie to ourselves into thinking, oh, well, maybe we gotta try to work this out to figure it out and stuff. And not to say that like first instincts are always the appropriate thing, but yeah, we're a lot smarter than what we give our credit. Well, I don't know if I could talk. We're a lot smarter than we give ourselves credit for sometimes, and then we can be really dumb where we think we're really smart. And I think that's an instance of that. And you try to like justify all these different things. I know I fall into this habit sometimes where I'm like, well, let's see how like part of it's the conspiracy theory thing. I'm like, how does your brain get into this sort of what is going on here? It's sort of similar. It's like, how can you like or dislike this thing? But then it's, there's the wanting to do that, but then there's the time sink of doing that, where it's like, okay, I'm not spending 30 minutes to an hour and a half on why, I don't know. Like the games that like somebody will review and be like, was it good? Or was it, and they like go through super detailed, oh, well, this game came out in 2002, this is the style, this is the stuff that was going on at the time and everything. I'm like, hey, no, I don't need to like revisit that. I don't need the history lesson for a game. No, thank you. I'm good. Don't need to know any of that. It's just not my thing. It's one of those instances where it's like, do you just play it? Do you like it? I mean, I get it's hard to do that with certain things. In the same hand, though, people should just be able to look at something and be like, oh, yes. Mind you, that's where marketing can be deceiving, and you're like, oh, well. I think of the Skyfall trailer. That Skyfall trailer is pretty slick. I really don't like that movie. Was not thrilled with that movie, but that trailer is pretty darn good. I'll watch that trailer back to back to make up. Oh no, I don't know if I'd do that because that's a lot of movie. Either way, it's you should be able to look at something, and if they're being honest in how they're presenting it, you're like, like I just seen. I gotta try to make a note of it, but I don't know if I can even find it. Of new game, and they're like, oh, this is looking pretty slick, and it was like 2.5 minutes to 3 minutes of somebody attacking a monster and then backing up, re-attacking the monster, and then backing up. I was like, this is like playing something like Dark Souls, where you're able to just do a little like dash, little Sonic dash, phew, kind of thing, or something. And I'm just like, this is not interesting looking whatsoever. Some people will find that interesting. More power to them. I did not. I was not too thrilled. But I'm also not really. I think it's they're going to be like for the PS5 or something. I'm not going to be really able to play it. So whatever. Yeah. So like things like that. Things have just kind of this. We don't trust ourselves enough when it comes to things like that. And it's just, I don't know, it's kind of weird. Because we can be really quick to make judgments on a whole bunch of other stuff. But when it's like, oh, well, I should really consider, it's like, no, it's a book. Oh, no, it's a movie. Oh, no, it's a album for a song or, a song or something like that. If you want to dig deeper into it, sure, if you like it or something, but if you don't, like if you get those impressions, yeah, sure, you don't want to just like dismiss everything because then you'd be just a killjoy. But I don't know, I think you should give yourselves a little bit more of a, maybe not. Sure, I'll give it a try. I'll revisit it at some point. Maybe I might change my mind. I do that all the time. Don't buy for it. Like, I don't even think I have a copy of it. No, I don't have a copy of it any longer. I used to have a copy of Final Fantasy VIII, right? So I bought it because I loved the demo that came out. There was that glorious demo that had Metal Gear Solid, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2, I think, Final Fantasy VIII, and a bunch of other games. And that Final Fantasy VIII demo was pretty stellar. And then the real game, bit of a different energy to it. I didn't really like it that first time around. then revisited it years later. But, you know, I had it, so it wasn't like I was buying more copies of it or anything. I was like, this is a bit better. But, like, so I get, there's like the whole wonky balance of it and stuff. More to the point of where I wanted to go with this whole thing is that we lie to ourselves when it comes to money, in the sense that I get it, you need it to pay for things like your bills, like food and such, but I guess in the same hand, we tend to conceptualize money as being, because we work for it, because we spend time doing it, is that this representation of our time and what effort, level of effort is, it gets misconstrued into being that this money equals then the experience. And I think that is a disservice to yourself. Like I know I kind of fell into that just thinking about it when I did that Eschaton little impression review thing about, oh, you know, you spend a couple $dollars and you get like about an hour's worth. Like, you know, you like, in that instance, I equated, you know, money with an experience there, and that's not really what we should do. I mean, to a certain degree, right? There is something to that, if it's an entertainment sort of thing. But when it's like, when I think of it like in the sense of, oh, you know, this money, I can just use it to go to like a national park or something, and that the experience I have walking through and hiking on trails or something like that cannot be equated to a monetary value. Like you can't just be like, well, it costs this much for the gas and sort of that sort of thing. And I think we tend to fall into that circle because of how we price entertainment. And even though, you know, hiking might not really be the go all get all for entertainment, I think that's something there that ends up happening. And we just like, oh yeah, we got this. Sure, yeah, whatever. It only costs $6 for a bottom of the barrel bin, whatever, movie collection of four cheesy 80s movies. I don't think it's $6. It'd probably still be a lot more. But that sort of thing. So there's the pricing on that sort of thing, and then there's the problem we get into with then the like shared experiences sort of thing. Instead of actually living our life, we've lied to ourselves into thinking that we can experience life through the eyes of others, whether that's through something like YouTube or through something like TikTok or like what's really been bad, me personally I believe, is that like pornography or even something like Twitter, even in a technical sense something like reading, just this inwardness to be whether unable or unwilling to go out and do things yourself kind of thing. You just, this sort of black hole just kind of crumbled into yourself where you're just vicariously living through some other people. Like with YouTube, when it comes to games or something, instead of like, I'll play the game, no, I'll just watch somebody do a stream of it. And I get it in the same hand. There's the idea of, well, you're enjoying it with other people, and there's more to it than simply just watching somebody else play. You know, with like a speed run, it's that, but it's still a shared experience kind of thing. Not necessarily anything bad about it in that sort of degree, because you could still extrapolate how, like, if you have a sports team that you follow and that sports team wins, it increases like that winning mojo, so to say. But then in the same hand, it's like, what do you, if you do anything with that? And then it's, you get into this weirdness of, you know, the doers versus the watchers and that sort of thing. And I think all of that inability to just take the chance and just sort of live your own life kind of thing has made a lot of people depressed, because their body themselves are not getting anything. It's like we're like being strapped to a machine. You're still being like fed and kept alive, but then there's like something wrong that you're not quite getting. You're kind of like, oh, there's something off, and you come to, and it's like the machine that was feeding you, getting your IV and stuff. It's gone haywire. Doesn't work anymore. You're in some sort of post-apocalyptic world, and everything's all run down, and you've been in a coma for 13 years. Probably a little bit longer than that. I don't know where I'm going with this. I had a weird idea for like a story that kind of involved that. I'll never get to it though, but like a story of like, not quite in the same vein as something like I Have No Mouth, but and I Might Scream, because that's a little bit more, even though it's a triumph of the human spirit in defiance of everything, more in the sense of, oh, things are super bleak, and the few remaining people there go into a dream machine so they can experience life like it is now through that, as they just kind of wait out their days. Yeah, it's super depressing, but like that's where my brain went, was on that one. I'll never get to writing that, because I don't think I could ever do it justice properly. But and plus I just revealed the the twist, or at least one of the twists to it. So, yeah, but no, it's unfortunately this is something we do all the time. Like, I honestly feel this way when it comes to, we have something that we are in opposition of. So immediately when we find something that goes against that, even though I'm totally pointing off screen, it goes against that. So, for example, people who are against using medications prescribed from doctors and that sort of thing, so they go against that, and instead they go the more holistic route, or like, it's basically pills, or like something like weed or something like that. Still trying to like reduce anxiety or reduce pain and that sort of thing. But one route or the other sort of masks the intentions, if that makes sense. We lie to ourselves and be like, oh, well, that other way is the bad way, that other way is the bad way. And it's like, well, no, they're still trying to take the, like, whatever it could be for, they're still trying to do something, allegedly. I don't know where I'm going with this. I'm so lost in my own words and world. Like with that or something, the especially with weed. I was actually reading an article about how New York, a lot more, like, I think they've legalized it or something of the sort. They got rid of a certain law about it, and that there's just so many more people who are just openly, almost to the line flippantly, smoking and stuff like that. Kind of like when somebody in the States gets to of age and drinking, and so then they act like the fool because they don't know any better, because they think, oh, ha 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 ha, and it's like, oh, okay. Thanks for sharing. But and they talk about this, and a lot of people are like, oh yeah, it cuts off the edge, it helps me be less anxious, and then I go through my day and stuff. Similar thing with like caffeine or something like that. It's like, oh, I drink caffeine in the morning, get on the day and stuff. From what I remember, caffeine in the coffee really doesn't work. Sorry to like either A, be wrong, and then saying something totally incorrect, but I thought more than anything when it came to coffee, it was less about the caffeine that got you going and more about the actual water content that got the body going. I joke and say that, water is nature's energy drink, but not to sound like a dweeb about it. That's where I go. That's where I go. Yeah, I don't know. It just sounds, I get it. I think I come off a bit as a straight edge, whatever, don't care. Not to say that people should imbibe in certain things like that. I just think, I wish people would be a little bit more introspective into thinking, why may you be more anxious and in need of this sort of thing, or why you think you need it to for some people would say, oh, it makes me more creative. Well, if it's making you more creative, then why is it without it you're not as creative? What's the problem there? Is there some sort of inhibition that just shuts you down? What, what's going on, kind of thing? And I think that's the lie that's masking up that sort of problem. It's like, well, that's what it is. So this helps, and cha-cha. I don't know. I mean, I know we all do it. I know I do it. I'm not going to share all the ways I do it, because that's not... Nobody needs to hear that. You're not my therapist. And quite frankly, I don't care. I am super rich. I am super awesome. I don't know. But yeah, no, I mean, we all do it. We try to convince ourselves that the way we do things, the way we have life situated, oh yeah, we've got the answers. Try not to act that way, but it's just kind of how it goes. Anyways, that's all I got for this one. Gonna take a break, and then we'll have the quote, and then we'll be on our merry ways. So stick around. Welcome back. There, that was Evil Shaman, which is one of the Sorcerian games. It's like Gods of Heaven or something. I don't know if it even ever came out in the States, to be honest, or elsewhere. Yeah, it's one of the Sorcerian games, and it is delicious to hear. Anyways, the quote for this one, super brief, and also don't really have anybody to attribute this to. It is a quote that... there are many different ways that it has been written by a whole bunch of different people, and that is, words without action mean nothing. And I can tie it into the topic for this one, because I think this is something else that we end up doing with when we say something and don't ever get back to it, whether it's because we're not being held accountable for what we say, or we, from like an outside source, or we ourselves do not hold ourselves accountable for the things that we say. And I don't mean like, I mean all of it. Like, I don't mean just like some sort of goal or dream you have. I mean everything you say. Like, if I said, oh, I don't like pickles, but here I am slabbing pickles all over my foods and stuff, and I'm like, wow, yeah, this is making it. You're going to be like, what's this? Are you sure? Yeah, hypocrisy is just going to like, I don't really like that. I really am not a big fan of you say something to manifest it into being, because I don't think that's how that works. I don't think me saying, hey, yeah, give me a cool 1,000, and I'm not saying it's going to like pop into the air, but I mean in the sense of, like, it only works if you say that, and then either somebody's listening or you yourself in here is listening enough to be like, let's work on that, let's get that, let's do that sort of thing, and say all the time about, oh, I'm writing. Well, yeah, you could be writing, and I wanted like to write books and stuff. Like, one of the friends I was talking to, he's not on social media, so When I was talking to him about how I had published a book and I'm getting ready to hopefully publish the second one here sometime this year, he was like, that's really cool. I'm happy to hear that you've kept that going and it didn't peter out, and that you actually kept keeping to it, because I wrote in high school and stuff, and then fell out of it doing in college for a bit, and then got back into it. But he knew that was something I did, and that was something I wanted to do, was just to write and publish stories and stuff like that. And it's just always something I kind of did, not solely devoted to it, but it was something that I was a good chunk of my time went to being a dork like that, and being a dork like that now. Just nothing changes. However, it's saying anything. Anytime you say anything, it is much less of putting rubber to the road. It is more of, when you say something, to me, I think of you're just buckling your seat. You're not really driving or going anywhere. You've buckled your seatbelt and you're ready to go. Or at least that's what you're saying, right? But the words do not mean anything unless you're unless they're being compared to an action. And so if they're not in line with each other, the words mean nothing, and in fact actually draw much more of a negative. And then you see the action and then just compounds it, and you're just like, wow, cool, great. Don't like this. Don't like you. So that's why we get so mad at people who are espousing morally high ground sort of stuff, and then all of a sudden turn around and you're like, oh, that's why, even if it's an act of good that somebody, or they're trying to instill or pass along, if you try to do something good but then there are bad intentions behind it, it is not a good thing. I will die on that hill, because that's it doesn't matter if it is a good thing that is still being done. If it is done with bad intentions, eventually it'll come out and it'll bring that down. That is just my mindset. I really doubt that I will change my mind on that. I can't really fathom, but it's only me, not really arguing with anybody, but I can't really, I'm too stupid to make an argument for it. And I know I've had this good discussion with some other people, but I still am very, very ardently in the camp of, no, if I say, oh, do good to others because it's a swell thing to do, and then behind the scenes I'm using somebody as a punching bag. No. It's just no. It doesn't matter what I'm blabbing about doing good for others. It's the punching bag stuff. So yeah, that's what I got. I hope this wasn't too horrible. I'm kind of tired. From my brain is goo, and it is seeping out of my ear. I can kind of feel it, but yeah. So you can tell me how wrong or right I totally am on that. More importantly, enjoy your weekend, weekday, everything else in between. I hope you enjoyed the episode. If you didn't, well, swing and a miss sometimes. More importantly, the song, or not more importantly, I don't know why I have these stupid language tics, and I'm like, I gotta, and they always just come out of my mouth, and it isn't until after. Anyways, the outro is Inevitable Struggle. It is like a retro 8-bit style of it. I like it. I think it was used in Aonoseki, if I remember correctly, for the Pomu game. The Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine-esque like game. Pumpto, I think. It's been forever since I played it. It's been a long time. Yeah, that's it. Enjoy your day, weekday, everything else in between, and I'll catch you next week. See you around.